Hi guys, we're back with indie comics writer Aaron Feldman from Toronto, and we're here to talk about the new 52 version of Suicide Squad, the one that inspired the current movie. So we just read the first trade, which covers issues, I think, 1 to 6. Yeah. There was a lot of controversy about this comic, mostly because of the redesign of Harley Quinn and because of
the newer, thinner Amanda Waller.
Yes. Let's start with Amanda Waller. What were your initial feelings about this?
So I had mixed feelings because on the one hand, I totally understand the controversy, and I think I share some of the dismay at seeing someone who represents a different body type than the typical thin, busty superheroine, and who's not just like a side character or something, but is actually a very important, cool character. Yeah. And to see that taken away is kind of disappointing. The only thing I could see in the favor of changing it was that she was a very masculine character, or when I say masculine, it embodied a lot of things that people generally associate with non-feminine people. So it kind of felt like you couldn't, they were kind of saying that to be like that, you had to have this kind of, you had to be more ugly in a way. It's this weird other way of looking at it. So they're actually taking all those qualities and putting it in someone that you wouldn't necessarily associate with like a hard-edged hitting character. But that's really me giving them way more benefit of the doubt than they probably deserve.
And you know what? That's actually ties in with some recent controversy on our show. Yeah. And I think the at the end of the day, you go, what you said is a great point, but you know that that's not what they were thinking. Exactly, they were thinking, let's just make her young and hot and thin. 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Now, also, another thing that really bothered me was this redesign of Harley Quinn. Now, I didn't really realize it at the time, but it sounds like 99% of these new 52 redesigns were done by Jim Lee. And the impression I get from that is, like I always thought, he's just not good at designing costumes. I don't think. He designed Jean Grey's costume that was used in the 90s cartoon. He's just not a good costume designer. The Harley Quinn design from the Batman animated series was perfect. I don't think they need to change it at all. That's just my opinion. It's almost like she's like a logo, like the Coca-Cola logo or McDonald's logo. You don't need to change that logo, really. She was perfect. What do you think?
I think that I agree with you in that if you change it, you have to do Batman increments. You know, change the logo a little, change the shape of the ears, but don't completely redesign it because it's so iconic. Same with Superman. Like you got to keep the blue, you got to keep the cape and stuff. Don't give him armor or whatever. You know.
Right. Good point. Okay, so now in this story, so we've got this new Amanda Waller, this new Harley Quinn. Some of the same characters from the old series. What they did with New 52 is they kind of just pretended the old stories didn't happen, but some of them did. But don't even bother trying to figure that out. In the first or second issue, one of the most controversial things, another controversial thing happens. We have a somewhat, I don't say graphic, but a detailed sex scene between Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Do you remember this?
I do remember it. I don't remember the controversy only because, and this should maybe give you an idea of the climate at the time, there was so much controversy with every book and a lot of sex scenes, because the Catwoman sex scene, the Starfire stuff in Red Hood and the Outlaws. Like, so this was probably the least of it.
This was probably, this was down on the list of controversial sex scenes, but there's a joke where Harley Quinn's sitting on the, it doesn't matter, her line is, this reminds me of a clown car joke. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
You know, folks, I'm all for adult superheroes like Watchmen and, you know, Mark Millar stuff. But Harley Quinn's already been established as a cartoon character, as a funny character, as a smart character, and she has a certain personality type that I'm not going to label her, but she's definitely different from other types of villains. And now they've just turned her into, just like every other female character, just sort of a tool for the male gaze, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing is, this goes with giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's like if they want to make this one character, who is for most of the book the one female character on the team, want to make her very, in charge of her sexuality and all that stuff, that's fine. But they're doing that with every single one female character on a team, that they're the one who like to have the sex and just sleep with everyone on the team. And it really, you can't give them the benefit of the doubt when that happens 5 times in 5 books or whatever, in which case, it feels really out of place too. They're like on the run from the law. Deadpool and Harley Quinn are just waiting, and then she just starts taking off her clothes, and you're like, I'm embarrassed kind of reading this.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. And I mean, you've got this writer from Supernatural. I've never seen the show, but I mean, obviously he's a writer that could pretty much do what he wants. He probably makes a heck of a lot more money doing TV shows than he does doing this comic. So the scripts are decent, and I'm not going to criticize the actual plots. I think the feeling I get and what made me not really like it is that I don't know if I really enjoyed the style. Like I felt like I was in like a Michael Bay movie where there was a little bit of a trashiness and a exploitation.
You hate Michael Bay, right?
I do. Yeah, I do hate Michael Bay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So the way I was thinking about it, because when I was rereading the original Suicide Squad, I'm like, oh, this is darker than I remember. Like there is rape and murder and stuff, which you don't really associate with pre-Watchmen as much as you do now when you think of dark, gritty stuff. Now it's sort of over the top. But it was always kind of dark fun, and this just felt dark, if that makes sense. It was just a lot of people dying. And the other thing is, this is kind of what I was talking about with the balance of the characters in the first one, is you have some really reprehensible characters and you have some really noble characters. In this one, the main draws are all the really reprehensible ones. Deadshot will betray other team members, kill them for no reason. And obviously you've got other like psychotic killers. King Shark just eats people for no reason. And you need to balance that out with some more noble characters. Diablo is more heroic, but he's rarely in it. And same with Black Spider. Yeah, who's out of commission after 2 issues or something like that. So again, the plots are fine. They're pretty solid, but it's just not as enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's funny because with the plot, that's sort of a technical thing, and even with like the art is technically good. It's technically better than the other comic, but I guess it's like, who do I want to hang out with? Do I want to hang out with the old Suicide Squad or this one? I want to hang out with the old one. I like the characters more. I like even though the art's not technically as good, I like the vibe of the art, right? Sure. Like the surface style, the colors. And so for that reason, I think that's a reason a lot of people in my generation gravitate to the Bronze Age 80s and 70s comics, because they have just a completely different feel. Like, is this a comic that you want to read over and over again, this new Suicide Squad?
No, it's a comic I would want to read once. Like I'm intrigued who lives, who dies. But once I figure that out, I don't need to go back to it. It doesn't really give me a lot of compelling reasons. Yeah. As opposed to the old team, like, yeah, I'd hang out with them for sure. I wouldn't live very long, but but it would be more enjoyable than, hey, like, it's just be so unpleasant being with these guys.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the new 52 Suicide Squad, Volume 1. I give a hesitant recommendation. It is a technically good comic that I would not want to read again. Aaron?
I think it depends what you're into. If you like Wanted a lot, like that really dark humor, it's worth checking out. But other than that, like, better to steer clear, I think.
So that wraps up our Suicide Squad episode. I'd like to thank indie comics writer Aaron Feldman for joining us. And hopefully we'll have you back on the show again one day, Aaron. I know that you're kind of far away, but I'm sure we can set it up. What do you think?
I think that would be awesome.
Oh, can't wait. All right. So thanks again to Aaron Feldman, and we'll see you on the next episode. Stick around for the post-credit sequence with Slipknot, remember, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's a doozy.
Kev, you are a big comic book fan. You buy hundreds of dollars worth of comics every month. What did you think of DC's latest movie?
I don't spend that much money.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the issue at hand here.